Excuse me. All right, good morning. I certainly hope and pray that all is well. For those of you who celebrate Halloween, happy Halloween. Be safe. If you're going out trick or treating, I remember growing up trick or treating. It's fun. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I was on earlier. I just got done eating breakfast, so home today, washing clothes, taking care of household things. Anyway, hold on, let me check, make sure I don't have nothing, food in my teeth, because I just got done eating. All right. This is somewhat of a trigger warning, okay? You have, I'm not going to use the fake words that people use, like unalive and all of that kind of stuff, and great. And I don't understand how that, it means what it, you're using that word for it to mean a particular thing, as though changing the word is going to not trigger. I don't know what that's all about. I don't fall in line with everything society, powers, rulers, so on and so forth throw at us, and we just, okay, that's what they say do because somebody made a video, put it on the app, and call themselves a doctor or whatever. I don't know where that shit came from. Okay, because people were using the words, the actual word, uh, not that long ago on these apps. I think it's just a mind game, and it's just to make people sound silly and sound like sheep, and to make fools of humanity. So I won't be doing that. Okay, so anyway, I had been, like I said, a couple nights ago, I did a video, live video with a content creator on here talking about how we met one another, because we've been accused by Brianna Jo Bellamy of being witches and in cahoots against her, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. So one of her posts that she made concerning me and this content creator, and the accusations she made and whatnot, which are false, I was marinating on it for I think last night, or this, maybe last night or early this morning. I can't remember, but I think last night. A running theme that I have found with these people that have been attacking me, and it might be possible for yourself as well who have been attacked, is there's some kind of sexual Deviance. It's an underlying tone. Let me just follow with me, okay? Uh, um, well, okay, we know sex is a very natural part of the human experience. For some, not there are people out there who they don't like it, or they have absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. Okay, I saw a documentary about that years ago. Me personally, at this point in my life, I have no interest in it. Um, and I find it to be kind of a primitive. But that just simply could be because of the way that it's handled in this society. Sometimes we do things in life because, especially when we're younger, because there are ideas thrown at us through family, through media, through various institutions, others our age, our peers, so on and so forth, who have the same things being thrown at them. Okay, and people blindly believe the things that they're being told about how you're supposed to uh, be in life. Okay, what kind of human being you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, so on and so forth. Now, I can understand with young people, teenagers, children, but what happens is it tends to continue on even in adult, quote unquote, adult age. Now, in this society of what is you 18, I think you're considered an adult. I'm 21, I don't know, 18, 21, whatever. When they talk about Kemet, ancient Kemet, like people who specialize in whatever area that they were a master in, they had to study for 40 years before they could practice it. Understandably so. Okay? Now let me get back to this. Before I recognized and realized what was being done to me, although I always knew something was strange, it was off. I knew someone had done something to me, but I didn't know what. And I didn't know who. I've explained that already for those of you who follow my channel. One time, I was working for the lady who raised me. Her brother had a business, and I was working at his business. His daughter worked there, and his son worked there. I was always so perplexed by his son because I knew I was like, as far as age was, I may not be that much older than him, maybe like 3 or 4 years or something like that. But when you're young, you feel like you're so much older, even if it's only like 3 years or something like that, 2 or 3 years. And you find out when you're adults, they're not that much younger than you. But anyway, I was always so perplexed by him because I remembered him as a little boy and how he was. And I used to think he was the cutest little thing. And it was just when I remember when I was like, teenager and whatnot, looking at him, I always thought that he was special. I said, he's real special. Something about him is so special. That's how I viewed him. But I noticed as he got older, he seemed to have a dark cloud over his head, kind of like a heaviness. He didn't have the same vibrancy that he had had. However, his mother did die of cancer. So I said that possibly could be, what has happened to him, what he's dealing with. And sometimes when I stop or hesitate or whatever, I see it goes to 0. And the only reason I do that is because sometimes either the Wi-Fi goes out or there's somebody in the background doing a magic or whatever for my live to stop. So, but anyway, and I was always perplexed, like what happened to him, But anyway, I'm in the office, and his daughter came in. She was the cutest little thing too. Oh my gosh, she was the cutest little thing. Chocolate, black as night, and she had a head full of just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hair. And I used to tease her when she was little. I had so much fun teasing her whenever I saw her. But anyway, but at this point, she's a grown woman. So she came in to work one day looking kind of rough. Okay. And her brother laughed at her. And she was standing in front of her dad, and her brother laughed at her. And he was like, well, what you laughing at? He was like, look at how she looked. Oh, that's her brother. You know, of course he's going to make fun of her or whatever. Look how she looked. She looked a mess this morning. And she did look rough that morning. Like she maybe had just woke up and just ran to work. But what I saw the parent do was highly disturbing to me. And I didn't say anything to anyone because, you know, sometimes you see things, you observe things, but you don't want to make no accusations. I don't know what nobody else. I don't make no accusations about anything. And what was said, this man looked at this girl from head to toe like a man looks at a woman's body. Okay. And what was said to her was, what was said was basically him telling his son to shut up. I got a daughter with a body sharp as shit, something or other after that. And I was like, what? I was sitting right there. I was like, what kind of, how are you looking at her like that? And why would you say that? It was disturbing. And then I used to work on his laptop sometime, and he had something up that I guess he forgot he had up. I'm not going to go into what it is. Okay. And I was like, oh boy, you know, so I clicked off of it real quick. I did share it with like maybe one or two people in that family that I thought were family members. And I was like, well, he's an adult. He can look at whatever he wants to, but he damn sure forgot that it was up. And then there was another person in that family dynamic, cousin who I was close to or knew. Okay, not this bleeding Z I be talking about. And her parents got a divorce, and when they did, she said she stayed with her father, and she said that he wanted her to get in the bed with her. And I was like, what? And she said, you know, she told him, you know, I ain't none of your wife. Now, this is what she told me. But I thought to myself, well, that ain't the first time he said that shit to her. So I asked her years later, I said, when you told me that, did something occur or happen? You know, they go a fucking neck, get the fuck out. And she just looked at me. And I think she said, you know, kind of said, yeah. She was one that would kind of drop hints to me here and there. So years later after that, she said, remember you asked me that? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, like she was wanted to tell me something, but she didn't. Okay. I'm saying this because it's something wrong here in this society. Now, some of these people had dream infiltrate. I've had, I think, well, it's happened at least maybe like 4 times. Well, more than that. But once, these people who call themselves these great spiritualists and whatnot, all in my dreams, feeling all on my booty and shit. Bitch, I don't even fucking know you, bitch. That's why I said in one video, you people with your sexual issues. And what you do is, instead of, you take advantage of going into that realm and forcing yourself on a person. And we know what that's called. But yet you get on here and so holier than thou and the great whatever. I mean, spirituality 101. First, work on self. Shadow work, right? Well, anyway, And that damn Rashad, I don't even talk about that. I don't give a fuck, bitch. I'll say your fucking name. But anyway, so one time in the midst, in the heat of all of the black magic they was doing on me, I mean, just like almost goddamn every night. Okay, this was a few years back when I was living in my grandmother's house. These people came in. This woman who raised me, her family. She wasn't in the dream. She wasn't in doing it then, but of course she was spearheading it. Let's just be for real. And I saw a whole bunch of them, her nieces and nephews. And this one girl that I talk about, it was apparent to me in the dream. I said, you know, like I said, they do this thing, but I don't know if they realize what you're picking up on when they do it. I couldn't tell. I was like, are they showing me this on purpose? And I realized, I said, okay, so this child, there is incest in this family. I was never touched by any of that. I went to a spiritualist one time, a reader, and she picked up on it before I even said anything. And I said, yeah, but nothing ever happened to me. She said, no. She said, because that lady, talking about lady who raised me, she said she knew you would tell. You goddamn right. I should have, what the fuck would have told. And I probably would have told her, and thinking she didn't know. Damn sure would have told my daddy. Okay. People had this thing with, because it was issues on his side with his stepfather. I don't know about anyone else, but your dad would have killed him if he had touched you. You say that, but my at the time, my father, the way he lived, I'm not sure he would have cared. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to this woman who raised me, her side. So I'm seeing how this one girl was given in this dream that they came into my realm to bother me and torture me. Okay. I'm seeing in this, I said, oh, they were passing this girl around here. This girl is being passed around amongst this family. So I was talking to her one day, and she mentioned about having this experience, being touched or whatever, and by someone in that family. Now this was before I knew anything, and I said, who did it? And she got very angry with me, very angry, and I couldn't understand. Well, why are you angry with me and not angry with the person who did it? I said who, so I'm thinking this needs to be made known so that whoever this person is does not continue to do this to other children in his family. That person needs to be made, held accountable. So why are you mad at me for asking? And there was another time, so we were sitting around talking, me, her, and another one of them, and there was a particular family member that I used to have to run from. Never got me. Okay, never touched me. But I would run for my fucking life when I was small. So they were saying something about him babysitting children, and I said, well, that, you know, that nigga don't need to babysit no motherfucking body. Well, he was dead at this point. I said, that nigga don't need to babysit no fucking children. That, you know, that motherfucker, I used to have to run from that motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? And they stopped and just looked at each other. And I said, okay, let me shut the fuck up. I want to know why this thing, people have talked about this on these apps. Why is there this insistence on protecting people who are harming children sexually? Why? Why are you angry with me? Because I asked you who. So that this person can be held accountable. Well, see, I didn't realize how in-depth the situation was. So there's another one of their, a cousin, older person, who, older than me, not old, but, older than me, who I really used to look up to when I was little, a male. Really used to look up to him. He was a teenager. Went to college, all that, got the degrees, all that stuff. Well, he was the main person I saw in this dream. And I said, what is he? Was he doing things to her? And it hit me. Yeah, him and a few other of them. I'm like, oh, so y'all passing this girl around. Now, I did a video about this. I did a reading on it. And it's up. I don't remember the name of it, but it's up. And then I'm realizing as time goes on, because these people are constantly in my energy, and I'm singing, and I'm realizing things. This girl's mother, you passed this girl around to them, family members, as well as probably some of your boyfriends. Okay. And then he realized, bitch, she wasn't the only one that this was happening to. So this is why her and the other cousin can't stand each other. Something to do with that father, that girl's father, who, my body's daughter, sharp as shit, because she kept telling me he doesn't like me. Well, I don't know why he wouldn't, but, Talking about the uncle. He doesn't like me. So when she was younger, she was a kid, so she you know how you have visions of who you want to be and whatnot. So she had a vision of who she wanted to be, and she went and got herself all cute and whatnot. And one time she lost a lot of weight. She looked really, really nice, really good. I told her, I said, girl, you look like you walked up out of a magazine. And she did. Beautiful. And during that time period, I'm sure she was really feeling herself. You know how it is when you lose weight, you know what I'm saying? And you get yourself all cute and shit, and you're young, you be feeling yourself, goddamn. Okay? All cute and shit. So that's when she said he was really looking at her disgruntled and angry. It's like, why would he be doing that? Why don't these people like this girl? What is the fucking problem? But you're too old for that shit. Oh, I see why. Y'all was trying to keep that girl down and suppressed, which you thought you was going to do to me. Okay. She looking better than my daughter. Because she was. When his daughter was looking like a little, what y'all like to say, Barbie, black Barbie. I think that's so fucking ridiculous for black women to be talking about looking like a goddamn white doll. A fucking Marilyn goddamn Monroe, when we have so many black Hollywood actresses, even from that time period before, who far outweigh and surpass some old ugly ass Marilyn motherfucking Monroe. Like, she looked like a hard man, but moving on. I said, well, why y'all hate each other? I said, oh, I see why they hate each other. This is a competition between the two. See, there's a lot of sick shit that goes on in these families, but what I don't understand is, why do you all protect these people? So they can do it to your children. Cousin and uncle and grandpa and some aunties and whatnot up in there as well. So there was a situation where I was just told, nothing I saw myself, there was a child, a young person, who did catch two of the cousins in the midst of being engaged sexually, adults. One cousin talking about, I think they went on a family reunion. I didn't go. One of them out of town things, when they're in a hotel room, he come out the shower, I'm about to fuck one of my cousins. This is the one girl who kept trying to drop hints to me. Let me tell you what's going on in this family. Which, again, I was never touched by any of that. But like the spiritualist said, she ain't let that shit happen to you. Yeah, because of the money thing, but also you would have told you goddamn right, which would have affected the money that she had her hands on that was mine. There were even times she would tell me, the lady who raised me, stories about her life growing up. Very little. You know, they came from that time period where they didn't, young children didn't know adults' business. Damn sure that time period. As well as just secret, swipe everything up under the rug. But where her parents were not married, but I think they had like 9 children together, and her father was a minister, which I was like, wow, look at that, okay. But she said he had quote unquote kidnapped her and took her down south for. I said, why? She said, I said to myself, yes, you do. Yeah, you know. So she would say little things here and there. And said something happened to her in that family, and I was under the impression it was him, but I said, no, I don't think so. I think he was trying to take her away from whatever was going on in that home. Took her down south somewhere. I can't remember where, and I can't remember for how long. Because basically from what she told me, she was close to her father, even though he wasn't in the home and whatnot. He was a minister. She would go to church with him the whole 9. And so he probably was trying to get her away from whatever was happening in this home. Okay. The first time I had heard about a parent, quote unquote, pimping their child, I was in college. It was my senior year. I lived in a house. I lived in the attic. My friend was on the floor below the attic, then another girl below her. And I think there was one more person in the house. I can't remember. The girl below her, we didn't know, but she was a student. She told me because of her work that she had done. She was going to school to be a teacher. And I think she was doing her student teaching or something like that. And there was a situation at whatever school she was at, and how she was telling me about how this man, they had found this father who was pimping his daughter out. And I was like, what? How could you do that? It was the first time I had heard something like that. So I wrote a play. It's called What You Don't Know. And it's about women having abortions. And they're all sharing their story. And I took that story that she told me and made that one of the characters in it. I did a staged reading for it here at one of the libraries. Okay, for people that may want to lie and act like it's theirs or that it was their idea. Okay, so anyway, one girl came to see. She was did she do plays or movies? I can't remember. She said that would really be good as a screenplay. So I had started working on it. Unfortunately, this girl's a reader asked me, "Can I help you edit it?" And I sent it to her. So I don't know what she might have done with it, okay? But anyway, I got the date on it and everything. See, people they want to take your shit and minimize it because they want to destroy you. Bitch, it's not about me, motherfucker. Because that old Philippe Weed, I had advertised it on my Instagram, then he did something stupid called What You Don't Know. That was the name of my play. You want to minimize shit because you're jealous, or you have these weird ideas, or she won't have sex with me, and all of this, your anger and your and the shit is not about you and your fucking ego. It's about for women who have experienced this, and they need a space and place to talk about it, not about you and your perversions and your fucking ego. Any fucking way. So like I said, I had never heard of no shit like that before. Okay, and I thought it was sick. Well, I actually met a girl here years later, who that was her situation. she told me that her mother did that to her and her sister. Her mother was a drug addict, and she said we were little. She said little, not teenagers, little. And she said she would have us dress us all up and have us parade up and down the street, so she could get her some money for her drugs. And I was like, whoa, and how did you handle that, and blah, blah, blah. And she was just sharing with me some of her life and, how she had to get therapy and all of this kind of thing to work through it. It's just so devastating, for a parent to betray their child in that way. Okay. But obviously there are things that are there. These are these curses that are in families, and they just carry it from generation to generation to generation. So there were times when my daughter was a baby, and I would leave, go get my hair braided, or I was staying with the lady who raised me for like the first year of my daughter's life. Looking for a job, whatever the case. And she would watch her. She would hold my daughter. My daughter would look at her and just start screaming. And I just always felt so uncomfortable leaving her with her. And I was just thinking to myself, but that's your mother. Why do you, why, how you make question yourself? Don't. Don't. Yeah. But it was just always an uncomfortable thing. I was like, something ain't right. Now, this woman, I'm not accusing her of doing anything to my daughter. I don't believe she did. She never did anything to me physically. But there were projections. Okay, I talked about that in another video. Even this one girl that I talk about on here that I said that I had that dream, and I realized, okay, y'all was passing this girl around here amongst family, as well as her mother, her boyfriends and shit. There was a time when I was adjunct professor, and I had to go on campus for a meeting. I didn't have anybody to sit with my daughter, so I asked if she would. She said yes, she came. And then when I was leaving, I was like, I hope this. I just had this feeling like, don't touch my daughter. I was so uneasy. Here's the one talking about, I eat you. You weird idiot. Going into people's lives and minding their fucking business instead of your own. So you can steal something from someone that you're jealous of and full of rage about. Anyway. Now, I'm not saying, I can't sit up here and say this is for absolute sure what happened. I'm telling you what I picked up on and what I observed. So I was so uneasy the whole time. I was like, I hope this girl doesn't touch my daughter, because she's got some kind of sexual issues. But I didn't want to say that to her. I mean, either. So that is I'm just saying that's a theme that I'm finding here. So I'm reading I'm thinking about this Brianna Bellamy post, and I'm like, okay, there's obviously she's jealous. Somebody left me a house. She don't think I'm grateful for it, which I don't care what she thinks. And then there's this other post about these men and coming in and out and astrally, and and playing with her and fondling her, and all of this sexual deviance. Nothing healthy. And I'm not saying anyone did. But based off the things that you have been saying, it made me want to say, did someone pimp this woman out when she was younger? Now, there are men and women, what they call them, succubus, incubus, whatever, which I thought were spirits. Or demonic spirits or whatever, but that will do that. They will astral project into your world and your realm. Okay. And force themselves on you physically and sexually. They will come in your dreams and do it. Okay. And I'm just so disgusted right now by this one spiritualist woman on here, bitch. You did that in my fucking dream. But yet you want to block me. I understand why. But anyway, moving on. So I'm reading, there is this woman has a serious issue with, I want to say with me, but it's not so much with me. It is what she thinks that I have that she doesn't have, or that she didn't get, because she wrote it, she said it. When I was texting her, Briandra Bellamy, I was talking about this lady who raised me. She would call her Miss L. And she said, well, at least she loved you. Another comparison. You got to have a mother that loved you. The lady who raised me didn't love me. Well, I was under the illusion at the time that the lady who raised me did love me. Thank God I found out the truth after the fact. I was talking to Briandra Bellamy that she was not my birth mother. And looking at the things that she had done to me, and like I said, continues to try with the shit last night, whatever spell work she was trying to cast on me last night. Nevertheless, that has been an issue with a lot, I don't want to say a lot, but enough people concerning me, usually women. You got love from your mother, which, no, I didn't. But my mother, or the lady who raised me, didn't do to me what your mother did to you. She didn't call me a bitch. She didn't, do these things, other things that they, like one girl said to me when we were teenagers, she said, it's like my mother with me, she said, it's like we're in competition, like she tries to compete with me. I did not feel that from a lady who raised me. But I can look now and say after everything, yeah, she was doing that. This lady was doing that to me, but this lady's not my birth mother. But yeah, she was doing that to me as well. I had one girl say to me one time, I didn't know she had issues with her mother until years later. She told me, but she said to me, Nikki, you gonna make it. She was wild. She was out there wild, and I remember thinking, what is she talking about? It's like it's always this thing from these people around me, these young women or these women around me. You get to have this, and you get to have that, and you get. But again, I didn't know what these people were dealing with in their homes, and I don't know what it is that they thought they saw. Because the one thing that lady who raised me did was she came off as though she was this Pollyanna, real sweet woman. She's not. Very dark woman. Mask. The issue is not with me. Whoever did these things to these people here, that's who your issue is with. Why are you deflecting and putting on me the issues of what someone else has done to you? Let me use this as an example. You are angry because you think that someone gave me a house for 12 years and I just walked away from. You goddamn right. But you're angry, you're jealous of what you think I have that you don't feel that you have. But your jealousy, Briandra Bellamy, is insane. But what it says to me is that your upbringing or those around you, parents or whatever, what they gave you was insanity. And it's unfortunate. Regardless, I'm not carrying the weight of your burdens and your issues, no matter what you say and lie about and continue to try to throw at me. I'm not the problem. I'm not your problem. You're not my arch nemesis. I'm not your arch nemesis. All of that fantasy shit. What's that? That spiritual bypassing that people like to do. The root of the issue, a piece of the root of the issue. This is why she ain't gonna get nothing. We gonna make sure she don't get nothing. We gonna make sure she feels she'll have to come to us. It is not me. I haven't done anything to you. It is what you think I have, what you think I am, or whatever the case may be, that you feel is better or that you didn't get to have because of your situations and your backgrounds. Money, having money. I ain't saying nothing that ain't never been said before. To buy things is not going to heal the wounds of the heart. It's not. However much money it is, whatever was left for me, you're gonna take it. We're gonna make sure she this, that, and other. It is not going to heal what has been done to you by the people around you, the very people that you are collaborating with to try to destroy me or whoever else. And that person is still looking at you in your face. Still on the road and will continue to inflict the pain on you. Why are you protecting confirmation? Why are you protecting those people? Why? So when the mother says, "Don't touch that boy like that, get off that has nothing to do with me. It is something that was done to you. But I'm gonna tell you what they do to you. The man who looks at the daughter, the grown daughter, up and down with eyes of lust. Like you want to foam at the mouth. My daughter got a body sharp as shit. What? Or like the other one says to me, the one whose father said to him, "Come get in this bed with me." She had on a outfit, a jogging suit. Look at all that. Turn around, let me see that. This is what she's told me. I'm not your issue, honey. Nor anyone else. What they do is they give you money. That's what these men have done to these young women that I'm talking about. They don't want you to. One thing that I picked up on before I found out all this stuff, I was like, you know what, this family, what they do, it seemed like what they do is they work to keep the girls down, to keep them codependent. So that's what the lady raised me tried to do to me. And I wouldn't allow her to do that. No, you ain't giving me shit. I know how to work. I know how to pay my bills and budget my life. You're not going to give me anything. Okay, I just want to help. No. I realize no, you're not trying to help. I didn't ask for your help. I don't need your help. When I need help, if I need a little extra for a bill, I'll call you and tell you, but you're not. And I did tell her, you're not fitting my life. Sorry. And she couldn't. I know she couldn't stand me for that when I would speak up for myself. But what they do is, I said, because look what they do. The one girl whose body was sharp as shit, the father done bought her a condo and a car and all of these things. Here's a job here. Now I don't know where she's at, what she's doing now. But I remember looking like he trying to keep her imprisoned or something. I mean, she said to me, we was talking about DC, and I was telling her how much I loved it there. She said, "Oh, I love DC." She said, "I would love to move there." And this grown woman in her 20s. I was like, "Well, why don't you?" She was like, "Well, I can't do that." And I was like, "Why not?" She said, "Cause daddy what?" I said it to her, "Cause your daddy what? What? What does that have to do with your life?" But what they tried to do is they try to make it easy for you. Make you lazy, make you unmotivated. Because they're going to take care of it. They're going to keep you from being able to live a life for yourself. They're going to keep you from becoming independent of them. That's another thing I don't understand. I don't understand why people have an issue with that. I don't know what that, except for it's just a control thing. It's to control you. Keep you on a fucking leash like a little dog. So that you're not successful, so that you don't become your own person. Now, I would normally say, why would a person do that? But I'm realizing and recognizing this realm that we live in, the people, it's just some evil shit. God is giving you free will, but they want to make sure that you don't have it, that you don't express yourself, that you don't become your own person. Now, the same one who's the daddy said, "Come get in this bed," we did the same thing. Money, 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 money. Here, I'll pay for it. I'll do it. Money, money, money. We ain't talking about a little bit. Keep the girl codependent and putting you in a space of feeling like I can't. What I said earlier on my first video today. I can't make it out there. I will say, for my father, no, he didn't do that, but he didn't care. He wasn't there. But thank you. I don't know that he would have done that anyway if he was. But if he would have, thank you that you didn't. My dad's attitude was get on out there and make it on your own. You know what I'm saying? They can at least have $5. Let me pull out this 100 or 1,000 I got, baby. I ain't got the $5. Bitch, go get a job and get you some $5 to get what the fuck you want, bitch. Okay. But anyway, I would not allow the woman who raised me, I would not allow her to do that. You're not going to do that. Even if it's not it's really weird. It's like a trap. And there are many times I could feel it just in the air. You could feel it. I could feel it over me, this trap, this invisible, like I said, I felt like I was in a cage, this invisible cage, just black. But not just with me, with those in that family, the lady who raised me, when they would come around, I could feel it, I could see it. Everybody, all these girls, I don't think they did to the boys as much. I don't know. But these girls are in a fucking trap. Now, for those of you like Brown Drew Bellamy who try to get in family business that ain't hers, and other people, no, this is not anything I haven't said to them. I didn't say the trap part, but I did say it's like they want the girls to be codependent on them or some shit. Yeah, you're right. Or just nothing at all. But there's a theme there. I don't know what the sexual deviance and perversion is in this world, it is a lot of molestation that takes place in this realm here. And people just walk along like that's not happening, or just happens to the occasional person. This is why this woman keeps, you ain't gonna get mine here. I don't want anything that you have or that you think you have. But it's not even about that. Beyond inheritances or things that people left for people, beyond that, this is not what any of it is about. There's an anger and a rage, and an internal rage at the things that have occurred in your life. And maybe even a feeling of, why didn't this happen to her? Or like the spiritual said, because you would have told. You goddamn right I would have told. Like I said in one video, I'm a snitch. You goddamn right. You're not going to, even as a child, you ain't going to just do anything to me. I ain't going to say something. And yet it just goes on and just goes, like people talk about generation, it just goes on, and generation after generation after generation. And that's what these people be on here, the spiritualists and the readers be talking about, some breaking these generational, which is scriptural. I want to say, maybe it's Leviticus. I want to say, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Is it? Oh. Well, we know, well, not everybody. Exodus 25. That describe God visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Let me see. Okay, let me just read the whole thing. The concept of generational curses in the Bible is based on Old Testament passages like Exodus 25. However, many interpretations distinguish this from a divine curse and instead explain it as the natural consequences of sin being passed down through generations via behavioral patterns such as addiction or violence, rather than a direct punishment on the innocent. The New Testament emphasizes individual accountability and suggests that these cycles can be broken. Okay, this says through faith in Christ. Christ, what is Christ? Not Jesus. Through the awakening, Christ consciousness, what we talked about earlier when I read Conquering Fear, your state of mind. What's that verse? I can't think of it right now. Okay. Old Testament perspective, in that scripture, Exodus, God warns that he will punish those who hate him to the third and fourth generation of their descendants. Consequences of sin. This is often interpreted as a warning about the natural long-term effects of sin. For example, children of an alcoholic parent may be prone to alcoholism due to a combination of genetic predisposition. These things get in your DNA, the behavior even. Okay. Gotta hurry up here. Let me see, where am I at? Scriptural. Okay. The behavior becomes a part of your DNA where you'll be doing things. You won't even recognize the why of it. It's just in your behavior. It's in your blood, literally. Environmental factors and learned behaviors. Idolatry. The warning is particularly applied to the sin of idolatry, where a family's spiritual practices and beliefs are passed down to their children. They just pass it down. You just keep passing it down to behavior. How far back does the shit go? New Testament and modern interpretation, individual accountability. Passages like Ezekiel 18:20 state that the soul who sins shall die, and the son shall not suffer for the iniquity of the father. Okay. By breaking the curse. Here it is, breaking the cycle. This verse suggests that while the consequences of past sins may persist, individuals are not directly punished for their ancestors' actions. Instead, the focus is on each person's own choices. So why are you angry with me for wanting to take the person who has done it to you, for wanting to make them be held accountable? Why? I remember when this ex of mine that this girl decided she was going to get involved with here, decided that he was going to put his hands on me. And I called the police and went to the police station and got a restraining order immediately. They talking about when did the abuse begin. I was confused. What do you mean, when did it begin? Yeah, judge, and I looked at the judge. I said, that day. So I shared it with her, and she was, I can't believe that you did that. Why can you not believe that? I don't care who has done what to you. What parent tried to break you? Are y'all still there? Are you still there? Or did they make it so okay nobody see the fucking live? Live. I do not care. Who tried to make you feel unworthy? What parent, grandparent, sisterin, brotherin tried to make you feel that you had no worth? Only a person who feels worthless would ask that question or say, I can't believe that you did that. This person said to me, someone raped me and I didn't go to the police. Well, why not? That was my question. Why not? I don't remember the answer because it wasn't anything that the person was ready to face in answering the question or to answer the question. No one, you have worth and value. Simply because you are. Ye are gods. I don't give a fuck if you're an NPC or whatever the fuck these people, all these categories and lists of what people, whatever, goddamn. Nobody, you can hold a person accountable for their behavior, but don't hold the person that you're jealous of because it didn't happen to them or because they were able to say, not me, motherfucker, and you want to destroy that person, but not the person who has crossed you and try to ultimately destroy your whole fucking life. You want to destroy someone else's life who says, no, you're not going to destroy my fucking life. You're not angry with me. You're not mad at me. Breaking the cycle. The verse suggests that while the consequences of past sins may... okay, I said that already. Freedom in Christ. And I'm saying the being awakened here. Enlightened. Like the Buddha, enlightened, became enlightened. I'm going to read it as it's written. According to New Testament teachings, Jesus broke the curse of sin for believers, and individuals are no longer under a generational curse, but are given a new spiritual inheritance. Faith without works is dead. You get you, but these are people that call themselves so spiritual, but refuse to break these curses in their lives and in their homes and project it onto somebody else. Because I didn't get to have what they got. My mama did this, and my daddy did this, and this one did this, and that one did that. Hold them accountable to the shit. And not the lying ass narrative of, I forgive them. Why? Why? They didn't ask for your fucking forgiveness. They're not fucking apologetic. They're not sorry for what they've done to you. They're glad you're sitting up there dumb saying I forgive you and not taking care of yourself. The distinction between a curse and a consequence. Curse. A curse is a supernatural condemnation or misfortune that is divinely inflicted. Consequence. A consequence is a natural or logical result of an action. Biblical context. The biblical context is seen by many as a description of how sin's negative effects can repeat in families. Rather than God directly cursing descendants, the ultimate curse is sin itself, which can be broken through faith in Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. Okay. So then what is the question of sin? Okay, but we're going to move on from that right now. Okay, but there is, maybe I can find it right here, scripture that talks specifically more in depth about generational curses. And I don't really have a whole lot of time here. Okay, I don't have a lot of time to find it. Okay, I'm not going to speak about this from a Christian perspective. Okay, because that's all that's coming up. Whatever this money inheritance shit is about, you must understand. I'm talking about my particular situation, not that of others who may be going through this thing, because your situation may be different. These are the things. Money's a very, very powerful thing here. Energy. Well, it's amazing what people think that it can do for them. Or what it will do for them. This is not just for these women here. Even some of these men here who I've had to deal with. Same issue. You have the same issue. I'm not putting you down for that. Confirmation. You have the same issue. The constant harassment from this man that I talk about here. It's to try to do to me what had been done to you in your youth. Someone wielding some kind of power and control over you because they're an adult and you're a child. Or whatever curse that's on them to even do that to a child. That's a curse. That's a fucking curse. You're cursed to do that to someone that is helpless, who trusts you, who cannot fight back, whose mind can be molded and shit. I was watching this show, Reasonable Doubt. I had never seen it. Was watching it. And that was the case of this young man who was an actor, and at 13, his fucking agent was molesting this child, fucking his mind completely all the way up. He completely embarrassed and humiliated when it had to come out. It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. So you want to find someone who is weak. You're taking yourself back to a moment in time that you have not dealt with. To try to find someone who is you feel is weak and vulnerable, like you were. To do to them what was done to you. But not holding that person accountable who did that to you. To keep it a secret. Don't hold them accountable so that they can do it to your children. And your children can do it to their children, and so on and so forth. And even you acting it out, possibly. You mad about a fucking house. And what you think I got. And what you think I got coming to me. That you're trying to stop and withhold because of the issues of your heart and of your life, because of what people, adults who you are still in contact with, who you still look at every day, who lie to you and tell you that they love you, so on and so forth, and some of them don't. But they have put you in these situations that you want to try to put me in to make you codependent on them. So like I would hear them say back in the day, they can't make it out there. And they planted that seed of doubt in your mind that you cannot live a life for yourself. But yet you seek to distort my reality. Someone who is loving and kind to you. You don't want that, because it has been implanted and programmed into you by the people who you trusted and who you looked up to not trust that. Not believe that when it's there in your fucking face. That can't be the case. That person cannot be real. They cannot have a heart of love. They cannot have a heart of kindness. It's some game, and I'm going to prove it. And who that bitch thinks she is, she got this, she got that. I'm taking all that shit from her, and she ain't going to have shit. No, you will take nothing from me. Not one fucking thing. And there's nothing any of you have. But this girl used to try to give me money all the time. And I would just tell her, no. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself one time, how wicked of you. It's not, you don't want to give me money, quote unquote, which I don't want, never asked for out of anything genuine. You want to hold something over my head, but you are not the source of my resources. Sorry that you think you are. But yet the person who sits next to you, whose house that you live in, who made you think that you can't go out there and live without them, separate from them, apart from them, and be your own independent person, has done that to you, and you are weak and enslaved to them because of how they programmed you. More than likely they were programmed that way as well. Why are you not holding them accountable? Why? Why are you letting them off scot-free? Why have you allowed them and the issues that are in their lives and in their heart and in their mind that they placed on you? Why are you allowing them to continue to control that spirit, that curse? Why have you built a whole fantasy life so around that right there in front of the person? Why have you done that to yourself when you can break this curse? It's not a fucking house, a spiritual, a literal inheritance, and all that bullshit. If these men are flowing in and out of your bedroom the way you say and doing all these things to you, who opened that door in your life for that shit to happen to you? It wasn't me. Who? Who do you feel did not find you worthy enough to lead you something? To make you feel as though you were worthless? Who? I would not give one single solitary fuck. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't. The injustice of trying to do something to me, to trying to slander me, defame me, steal from me all over town, all over the internet, all the bullshit, take all the money that was left me, so on and so, the constant black magic, all of that shit does not erase anything that has been done to you all. Time for goddamnation. And if I never receive it, guess what? Because I haven't to this point. And I'm all right. And I'm all right. And gonna be all right. And gonna stay all right. You trust those who have set out to demean you and have done it and destroy you and pimp you and take advantage of you. I forgot what they call that. I don't have to put a name to it. Sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't give a fuck if it was your damn daddy, your motherfucking mama, and all the supposed power that they have. Masons and Eastern Stars and all of that shit that you give power to. I didn't tell you. I'm not your daddy who said get in the bed with me. I'm not your daddy who said my daughter body sharp as shit. I'm not your mother who pinned you out to her boyfriends and her father and her and your grandfather and whoever and her cousins. I didn't open the door for all these men to be flowing in and up out of your realm. That's your issue. Those energies who are still playing and manipulating you and enslaving you, and you hold the curse when you have the opportunity to break it. You keep it there, you hold it there, and then you project because it didn't happen to her and she got all this from her family. So what? I have to go. And your weird ass, twisted ass, freakish ass lies. Brianna Joe Bellamy and the rest of you. She ain't gonna get shut. I'm gonna get whatever God say I'm gonna get. Miss Lavinia, you too. And your son. And my daddy's brothers and sisters and whosoever else. This is not a thing of me saying I'm better and all of that. If that's where your mind is, then leave. You hold those people accountable. You don't get mad at me. You hold them accountable for what they've done to you, to set you on a path of being codependent on them and putting you in a place and space and making you feel like you ain't shit. And you got to build some life that's not even based on any kind of reality, that keeps crumbling and crumbling and crumbling and crumbling every 5 minutes. You all have favor. Peace.